When I first came up with the idea for this video, I had big things in mind, and then I fell sick. So here's the basic version. I'm pretty sure it's going to taste good as well. This is a fall wintry spice dish through and through, in the bun and on the barbecue rub. Okay, so we start making the dry rub with half a tablespoon of piment, and then the same amount of cinnamon, then a heaping tablespoon of ginger, and we're going to go on with this Thai ginger powder. A teaspoon of clove, a teaspoon of chipotle powder, and about that much smoked paprika. A bit of MSG, and some tri-coloured pepper. We'll make that too. Now just give it a mix. So now I've got a pork shoulder here that I've already removed the skin and shaved off as much fat off the back as I can, because we'll cook that separately. Now to make this cook a bit quicker, I'm going to cut this into 3 big chunks. So we'll go about here and here. Okay, as always, I like to salt my meat separate from the main rub. So we'll go ahead and give it a good salting on all sides. After you've given them a good salting, I'm going to give them a good dusting of the rub we just made. Let's head to the grill. Well, the pellet grill's not fully up to temperature. It's cold out here, so I think it'll be all right. So we're just going to place it on, close the lid down, and the beauty about the pellet grill, we can go inside by the fire and keep warm. Okay, to start off the buns, we're going to add some salt to some water in a pot, and then we're going to add in 300 grams of pumpkin. Now, simple enough. We'll just boil them till they're tender. All right, once your pumpkin's boiled till nice and tender, you want to get it out onto a big tray, and you want to give it a good mash till it's nice and smooth. Now, you want to put it on a big tray like this, because you want it to steam away as much moisture as you can. So, once you've given it a bit of a mash, it doesn't have to be completely lump-free, but just break up the bigger pieces, because it will get further broken down once we put it into the stand mixer. Okay, so I'm going to weigh out all my ingredients straight in the mixing bowl here. So we're going to add the milk in first. Then we're going to add some all-purpose flour. Then we're going to add some egg yolks. Then some sugar and salt. And then we're going to add some clove, cinnamon, and ginger. And we're going to crumble in our fresh yeast. And some softened butter. Finally, a cooled, pureed pumpkin. Now we just close the lid of the stand mixer and start it off slow to combine. My dough's not quite coming together. I underestimated how much moisture is actually in the pumpkin. So the machine's not going to be able to do it. I've also added more flour, so we're going to do this by hands. So we'll generously flour the worktop, and we're just going to get it poured out. Generously flour the dough in our hands, and then we're just going to start trying to bring this together with our hands. All right, once you've worked it, and you can't seem to do anything else with it, it's still too sticky, we're just going to cover it with a tea towel, and we're just going to let it chill out for about 10 minutes. And then we'll come back and try again. So it's been about 10 minutes. Just going to put a little bit of flour on the hands. I'm going to give it another knead. Now it should be a lot less sticky now after it's rested. It's still going to be slightly sticky, but a lot less than what it was. So we're just going to work it a little bit and bring it into a nice tight little bowl. Okay, then we're going to lightly oil the bowl and get that all zhuzhed around. We're going to get our dough ball, get that in, get it all covered up, and then we're going to plop on a dinner plate, and we're going to set this in a nice warm place to double in size. Once your dough's doubled in size, maybe a little bit more, we're going to lightly dust the work surface, and we're going to dump it out. And we're just going to move it around the table a little bit, just to make sure all that air's knocked out. Okay, now we're just going to go ahead and evenly divide the dough into 10 pieces. If you're wondering, each dough ball of mine turns out to 105 grams each. Okay, once you get all your dough portioned out, you're going to roll them into bowls. Now, you could go like this and then push them all out and fold it back in, but I'm not feeling it. So a little bit of flour in your hand, flatten it with your palm of your hand, and then just start rolling. This is the quick, dirty way when you can't be bothered doing it the proper way. A little bit of extra flour on top. Just keep rolling. And once you get it into a kind of a bowl, just get your hands, push it in, you dump the flour, just a little bit more flour on the bottom to make it sticking, and put them on the tray. Now we'll cover this with a tea towel and let them prove in front of the fire again. Once your buns have proved for a second time, you want to go ahead and hit them with an egg wash. That's just one egg beaten with a little bit of water to help thin it out. Okay, while you egg wash your buns, if you see any little bubbles that have formed on the surface, just go ahead and pop them, because you don't want any holes in your bread when you're cooking them. Okay, Once you've got them all egg washed and debubbled, you're going to stick this into a 200-degree preheated oven for about 15 minutes. 200 degrees Celsius, that is. So these took right on 16 minutes. Now you're going to let them cool down completely. We're going to wrap this pork. They've been cooking for about 4 or 5 hours now. So I've got some double layer of foil laid out. Now I'm just going to lay down a little bit of butterschmaltz, which is clarified butter. And this is some stuff that I confit some beef cheeks in yesterday. Just going to lay a little bit of that down. And then also to that, we're just going to drizzle in a little bit of honey in the wrap, because I like my pork with a little bit of sweetness to it. So here's a little pork chunkers. Now this is the side that's been on the bottom, so I'm actually going to keep that on the bottom because they are a little bit harder there. They've got a little bit of a crust there, so I want to soften that up a little bit. So we're just going to, simple enough, wrap it up nice and tight. Nice little package, back on the smoker. Now we're just going to let them cook until they reach pulling temperature, which is about 95 degrees Celsius. Okay, once your pork's reached your magical 95-ish degrees Celsius, let it rest. Okay, after you let them rest for as long as you can, it's been about half an hour for me. I'm going to get all the chunks out and the juice into a dish. Then once you've got them out the package, just go ahead and, pull them apart. As you're pulling it, make sure you toss it in all those juices, all that buttery goodness. It should soak it all back up. Now, I could have done a lot of things to build this sandwich. Could have made a mayonnaise, I could have made a barbecue sauce, I even could have made some quick pickles. But I'm feeling kind of at the moment, so plain old Dijon mustard it is. And pile on a hefty good piece of meat. Oop, that might have been a little bit too much. And just cap it off. Here we go. This sandwich, how it is, super basic, but there are so many options you could go from here. As I said before, sauces, pickles, different kind of toppings, but I didn't even toast a bun, and it still tastes damn amazing.